Hi folks, Kilt-Man here. And I've lost weight. I'm reporting to you now from what is now officially the wettest place on the planet, because it has not stopped raining for what seems like forever. Now those of you that have the sheer, fantastic, goodwill to watch my Starsky and Hutch video the other night will have heard the sound of devastation emanating from somewhere just over there. And yes, I surmised on camera that sounded like my conservatory roof going through. Well, indeed it was. Yes, wrecked in the tempest. And of course, it's not stopped raining. So, in a little touch of Beverly Hills, a bit of swankiness, Kilt-Man now has an indoor swimming pool. Very cold though. And yeah, now you may think, Kilt-Man, you can turn your hand to anything, you can fix anything. Look at you, you're a demigod. Well, you see, now I can do a lot of things, but I cannot fix conservatory roofs, because my attempt to repair it ended in absolute unmitigated disaster, which almost put me in an early grave, a very watery grave at that. So I've had to bite the bullet and get a man in to do the job. Someone who has technical and engineering and practical skills, who can do stuff with his hands and knock nails in and stuff and not hurt themselves doing it. So he's coming in tomorrow, and boy, is it not a moment too soon. So before you all start sending helicopters over to airlift Kilt-Man out, which could be interesting in a kilt, obviously. Hey, don't worry. We've got it covered. Or at least we will have it covered very soon. And it needs covering. My God, this rain won't stop. It's almost biblical. Animals queuing up in twos down the road outside. Some old guy building a bloody ship down there. Old Noah. Anyway, that's not why I called you here today. No. I wanted to offer up another bit of motivational music. Something else to tickle your earbuds, and get you sort of wound up and adrenalised and ready for action. And what better than a bit of Bond? Now, you all know the infamous, famous Monty Norman gun barrel sequence. You all know it. The James Bond theme. Well, I'm not going to play you that one. That was Monty Norman, but it was arranged by the great maestro himself, John Barry. John Barry, who went on to score many, many James Bond movies. All the best scores were done by John Barry. And John Barry was he did Zulu, he did King Kong, 1976, he did The Black Hole, he did Out of Africa, he did Dances with Wolves. I'm going to cover John Barry's career maybe a bit more in depth on another video, because it's fascinating. I've always thought that he underwent a severe change in the mid-70s. He went from being the action, dynamic, sort of jazzy, funky, pop style, which is synonymous with James Bond and the 60s stuff, and a lot of his action scores, big, bold, brassy trumpets and lots of drums and bongos and syncopation, to a very lush and beautifully melancholic strain, ushered in by the likes of the King Kong movie, the remake, which I love, by the way. I'm one of the few people that does, and I think it's magnificent. And the score is just so epic, elegiac, tragic, gorgeous, haunting. And that seemed to change his once dynamic output for the rest of his career. And it's very strange. I mean, it's epitomised by, he scored the unfortunate Stallone and Sharon Stone actioner, The Specialist. What a pile of crap that was. And but John Barry scored it, and he scored it with the most inopportune, unfortunate of scores. It's for a different film. It's lush, it's melancholic, it's beautiful, and romantic. What? The film isn't like that at all. So I think there's grounds to cover his career with a bit more depth and a bit more, information. But anyway, I'm digressing, as is my wont, rather hugely. So we know the main theme for James Bond. You know, yeah, of course we all know that. But there was another famous secondary James Bond theme, which was just called 007. And this was down entirely to John Barry. John Barry, from the second movie onwards, so Dr. No, he arranged the music for and orchestrated it. But from Russia with Love onwards, he did a whole slew of the Bond movies. And he worked with Roger Moore, Sean Connery, and Timothy Dalton for The Living Daylights. And all magnificent scores they are too. And this secondary theme was heard in only 5 movies. It was introduced in From Russia with Love, where you hear it twice. It then reappeared in Thunderball, its normal version, and then in a much extended, fabulous underwater battle sequence where, you know, Bond and the guys working for Largo are having an underwater battle with the US Aquamarines or Aquaparas, whatever they are, harpoons and, you know, underwater, you know, buggies and stuff, like, fantastic. And it was a huge extended version of this 007 theme played there, and it was very, very welcome too. You then heard it again in You Only Live Twice. Remember the scene where he cobbles together Little Nelly, the gyrocopter, and then he has to take out the helicopters coming after him? Well, it plays behind that sequence too. And then not the last time, silly me. You hear it in Diamonds Are Forever during the helicopter assault of Blofeld's oil rig base at the end. But it kind of plays a lot behind the explosion, so it's not quite the best rendition. And then you hear a very lush variation of it for Moonraker during a sequence. Now again, maybe this ties in with this whole thing of John Barry going for this bit of a change, because the Moonraker score is itself a very brooding, dark, and sort of, again, that word melancholy creeps in there. It is definitely a more melancholic score, heavier, darker, more ominous. And he plays 007 during that speedboat chase sequence. Now that's a speedboat chase sequence, and he plays what is this fantastic rhythm ostinato, which is always meant to be a sort of mission in progress statement, a mission statement for Bond. Bond is in action, Bond is on the go, he's either rescuing somebody, he's on the run, he's just stolen something, he's pursuing someone, he is in action. And this music, this furious, rhythmic, pounding, it's just gorgeous, gorgeous sequence, normally accompanies Bond at his most dynamic, his most pugilistic, and his most gung-ho, causing the most damage. And yet, in Moonraker, it plays over what would be a typical sequence, but in this very sort of incredibly sort of sweeping, almost pastoral version. And it's just, what? But it's lovely. It's a lovely version. And I wish that in all the later movies, David Arnold took over, and God, who else? Who else has just done them? Oh, I can't remember their names. And but no one else has tackled it. No one else has brought that in. They've all brought the gun barrel James Bond theme in. They've all brought that in. They've all incorporated that. But no one's ever tackled the 007 theme, and I wish they would. I wish they would. Anyway, so let's. I'm gonna take you to way back to From Russia with Love. You hear it first of all in the big Gypsy shootout, Gypsy encampment, and there's a big shootout there, and it's a glorious statement of it. This is just the first time you ever hear it. But then later on in the film, it all hinges on the Lecter decoding device, which the Russians want to steal, and Bond steals it first, and falls in love with the Russian agents who's supposed to be entrapping him and all this. Anyway. So from the Russian embassy in Istanbul, Bond puts tear gas in there, nicks the Lecter, and him and his buddies, including this Russian girl who's now fallen in love with him, of course, have to escape, and they go through the underground, subterranean warrens and come up in a safe house before getting on the train, the famous train, to bring them to London, basically, where of course he will fight Robert Shaw as Russian agent Red Grant in that fantastic, brutal as hell battle in this train compartment. Oh my God! Bottoms up, folks. Someone always has the bright idea of putting little props around somewhere, and there's a totem pole there. Go figure. Anyway, so I'm going to play for you the track called 007 Takes the Lecter. Listen to this. You all know it. It's optimistic, it's upbeat, it's highly kinetic, full of velocity. Listen how the strings come in. Warm, elegant, sweeping. But that rhythm. Oh yes, that's Monty Party. Feel the orchestra bursting with adrenaline, can't you? They must have loved playing this. Percussion, drums, bongos, the trumpet. It's an action suite, isn't it? Sit still. Are you running like Tom Cruise? It's an action cue you can dance to. There aren't that many of them. Now, you know what? I've said to the missus many times that when I die, because Kilt-Man inevitably will die, it's just going to happen. You know, this is about my 10th reincarnation anyway. But when I die and my casket's being carried down the church aisle, I want that playing. And she went, what? What? Why? I love the group Big Country. Why do they have Big Country playing? Oh, no, I want that playing because it's rousing, it's upbeat, it's exactly the antithesis of someone who's died. It's someone who survives. You know, anything that happens, this guy's like that. You play that, and Bond walks through flames. You know, helicopters explode around him. He just walks up and gets the debris off his shoulder. You know, it's that kind of music. It's that kind of tune. It is victory, but it's victory with a twinkle in the eye and a grin on your face. It's with that playing, you are impervious to any kind of damage. So as that coffin, with me, is about to be set sail to Valhalla, it's going to be a big coffin because all my swords and my masks and all my movies are going to be in there with me as well. So it's going to be it'd be like a fucking tanker, you know. I pity the poor boys who've got to carry that. And I want that playing, definitely. And people have been in the aisles like that. And you'll hear me tapping on the inside of the casket. And then I might just spring out at the end. Ta-da! Let's play it again. I'll play you a different version of that because we've got it on. Let's just see. Have I got a Thunderball here as well? I think I have. by Jove, I have. So and on the Thunderball soundtrack, as I said, you've got this massive sweeping underwater battle as well. That's 10 minutes. I'm not going to play that, but I'll play the 007 theme as it's a variation again. It was always finely tweaked and changed, but essentially that rhythm, that beat, that sheer infectious verve and sense of, twinkle in the eye, daring do, it's always there. You can start. This actually is the finale of the big battle underwater. 007 will be speeding through all these divers, ripping masks off them, knifing a couple. Different. Not loaded. It's just so heroic and heraldic. It's a fanfare. How can you lose with this playing? Bad guys here, this is gonna fuck it. Put the guns down, go, oh, you win, you win. Isn't it terrific? Right, folks, there you go. That is the famous James Bond secondary theme, brilliantly titled 007. Now, if I just said to you, I'm going to play the 007 theme, you would have all thought, wouldn't you? Of course you would. Everybody does. But I bet you recognise that tune. I bet you recognised it. It's only played in 5 movies, and I wish to God it had played in every single one of them. And I hope and pray that they're going to bring it back someday. The last film, Spectre, which I thought was absolute dog turd, was meant to be a throwback to the witty OTT style of the Sean Connery and early Roger Moore ones, where it's just, it's fun. And a lot of harkbacks, obviously, Blofeld. They messed it all up. But it would have been ideal to have put that theme in there at some point, in some variation. It'd be great. It'd be so, the fans would love it. The real Bond fans would love to hear that creeping in, even just ghostly, in the background. It would be brilliant. Brilliant. So folks, I'm going to leave it there. Just shy of 20 minutes. Hey, I'm getting succinct in my old age. Anyway, all you fine folks out there, keep dry. Keep an eye on your roofs. Watch out for leaks. And I don't mean leaks in MI6. Keep it real. Keep it Celtic. Keep growing your hair. And I'm going to see you all later.